right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning. My name is Micah Matthews. I am one of the marketing directors here at Messer Financial Group. Would like to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. We have a lot of great information to go over. Today is our first day of our short-term medical week. We've got a lot of great information to share with you, and I am very excited of it because, in my opinion, I think it's one of the most missed opportunities out there amongst agents and could be one of the most lucrative. And I will tell you exactly why. To join us for this morning, we have Philip Mishler and Chaz James. They are with National General. They are going to be our partners for today, and we are super excited to have them as well. Been working with Phil now for a couple years, and he's been a great resource and ally to us. As far as getting anything resolved, he is a great resource, and he is able to help anyone out there. So, and soon I will turn it over to him to go over that. But before I do that, I do want to go over just a few things about why I'm so excited and passionate about short-term medical. For those of you that aren't familiar with short-term medical or just getting into it, I just kind of want to go over how things have changed in just the recent years in short-term medical. Just a couple years ago, guys, you could not write a short-term medical plan that lasted more than 3 months. That means every 3 months, your deductible starts over and you have to go through underwriting again. Well, obviously, that's a huge deterrent to a client to have to do all of that, and just, quite frankly, quite a hassle if you're looking for something that's a long-term. Since then, things have started to deregulate. We can now write anywhere from a year, 2-year, and sometimes even 3-year plans. However, there are still some states that don't even allow short-term medical or still have that 3-month rule. So luckily for us, in the majority of the states that we're in, they do allow 1 to 2 to 3-year plans. So that's the good news. Also, as far as being lucrative, it's incredibly lucrative. And I'm going to give you my personal experience of how I found out about short-term medical and why I think it's so appealing. I had a client that had a family of 4 come to me, and we were talking about their health insurance, and they were on an ACA plan. Okay, this family was relatively healthy, and the father made well over $250,000 a year, so they did not qualify for a subsidy. And I asked them what they thought about their health plan. They said, well, it's basically got a $13,000 family deductible, and nothing is covered until it meets it. So no, we're not very happy. And I said, interesting. So what are you paying on a plan like that? And he said, I believe at the time it was $1,200 a month. Okay. And obviously that's very, very expensive for a plan that still has a $13,000 deductible that they're never using. Right. So I said, well, would you be interested in hearing some other options? So they said, yes. So I quoted them a short-term medical plan, family of 4. Made their individual deductibles at $5,000, and they're at 100% plan. So what that means for those of you that don't know what that means is once they meet $5,000 deductible, they are covered at 100%. So what you got to ask yourself is, why do healthy people get health insurance? And the reason why, predominantly, is because they don't want something catastrophic to happen to them and cause them to have financial troubles. After all, medical bills are the #1 largest reason as to why people file for bankruptcy. So, okay, but you also want something that's reasonably priced. So I quoted them that $5,000 100% plan for each one of the family members. Okay, now remind you, I said that they were paying $1,200 for a $13,000 deductible plan. So now I've decreased all of their deductibles and made a much better plan, which also includes free teledoc. And you can customize it however you want to, these plans. This is just an example of what I did for them and what they were interested in. Their premium for the entire family was a little over $500 a month. Okay, so think about that. So now I've got a family that's relatively healthy, that makes a great financial earnings, that I just saved roughly $700 a month. Okay, so the question is what can you do with clients that you just saved $700 a month that are relatively healthy, that have money? Well, the answer is whatever you want, right? I mean, we could talk about dental plans, we could talk about life insurance, we can talk about anything that they want because there really is no obstacle now of what I could market to them. So ACA, and I said this in one of our previous webinars, over 90% of people who enroll in the ACA qualify for subsidies. Okay, so you're talking about lower income folk and those that have pre-existing conditions that there's no other alternative option. However, guys, that's really only half of the population out there. There's a whole other side that do have money, that are relatively healthy, and that are looking for help paying for some of these insurances. Because as we know, ACA without subsidies is extremely expensive and hard to afford for anybody. So when you can do that and save them money, I can't think of a better way to build a relationship with someone than to save them $700 a month. And plus, they probably know people that are just like them. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to refer them over to you because they know that just by talking to you, you're going to be able to get them a better benefits, a better plan, and help them save money. So when it's a win-win opportunity for you, the agent, and then the client, we have to take advantage of it. I know it's an easy sell to sell zero. Any one of us can sell a zero premium. So yes, there is a premium. But how easy is it to sell something when they're already paying a ridiculous premium? It's the same thing, guys. It's just a different way, and it's a different pitch. Okay? You're trying to build a relationship. You're trying to do what's in the client's best interest, and there's no better way to do that. Now, let me appeal a little bit to your greed side. So on that family, okay, that I wrote for that year plan, I myself made over $2,000 off that one family in commission. Over $2,000. And I'm saving them that kind of money just off that one product, not to mention anything else that I do outside of that. And guess what, guys? Guess what I'm going to make next year on that plan? As long as it's enforced, $2,000 again. So point is, it's incredibly lucrative. It's incredibly beneficial to the clients, and it's an unbelievable way to grow a large book of business for people that are healthy, that have money. And let me just say, guys, there's a lot of different ways you can market this too. It's not like Medicare Advantage where it's super regulated. You can pretty much market it however you want to. Okay? And I'll tell you, one thing that I've also found is a great way to market is through mortgage protection. Again, guys, you're talking about people. So take somebody that's looking for life insurance, mortgage protection, term insurance, whole life, whatever it is. These, again, are folks that want to invest their money, and they have to be relatively healthy to go through underwriting. That is the exact same guidelines of the perfect client for short-term medical. Okay? So we're talking about something that you can get paid an enormous amount while also doing what's in the best interest of the clients. And isn't that why we got into this industry anyways? Is to help people and also make a good living while doing it? So I just kind of wanted to, and here's one last thing that I want to share about short-term medical. Regardless of whatever political affiliation that you're with or whatever you believe is going to happen, one thing that we know for a fact is this year is an election year, which means that depending on which side it goes on, there's a lot of uncertainty of what's going to happen with the short-term medical market, right? So they very well, next year, depending on who wins, may change the rules to where they only have 3-month rules again, or maybe even eliminate it altogether. So point of all that is it is so crucial, and exactly why we're doing these webinars when we're doing it at this time frame, because you want to lock it in now. Lock in that policy, because at least if nothing else, if everything changes next year, then they have that plan for as long as that term is in force and they're paying those premiums. So lock it in for as long as you can. They can always cancel the plan early or make adjustments, but at least if nothing else, they're locked in on a plan that they find the value in, and they're going to hold it for as long as they can. And then when their term ends in the future, after all of this unknown it will become known, we can make adjustments at that time. So I really cannot think of a more crucial time to be marketing this product to healthy people that have money than now. Lock it in, guys. Get it in, because we don't know what next year's going to bring. Why do we sell insurance? Because it's peace of mind to know that in any situation that you're going to be protected. And there's a lot of unknowns going on right now. And with the pandemic going on, these short-term medical plans are covering COVID. So again, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a new way of doing business, and it's something that is completely underserved. The ACA market, guys, is going to be completely saturated. I'm sorry, but I've done webinars these past few weeks, and it's just an explosion of interest. And the underserved are the ones that have the money, that are relatively healthy. And to me, the opportunities with those folks is something that none of you are going to want to miss. So right before I turn it over here, I just wanted to show you guys, this is our website, messerfinancial.com. Below here, you're going to see a calendar. As you can see, every one of these is darkened. That means that there's a webinar today. So if you ever want to know what's coming up, this is where you would look. So if I click on Monday the 5th, which is today, you'll see National General, tell you a little bit about it, who's presenting, Philip Mishler, Chaz James with National General. You can register for it. And if you ever want to go and watch any of the previous webinars that we've done, make sure to go under Agent Resources, under Messer Learning Center, and then it'll come up all the previous webinars that we've done. So the last series we did were a bunch of hospital indemnities. So we have those. We've got all the ACA carriers we did, an ACA Landscape, Cigna, all of these other ones, Introduction to ACA, and you go back even prior ones when we did National General. So again, this is a huge opportunity. I think anybody that wants to broaden their portfolio needs to seriously take a look at this. And guys, here's the thing too, is these carriers, they're paying percentages. So, and it all depends, of course, on your levels, but it's very realistic to have a 20% commission level. So think about that, 20%, and the average premium is roughly $300 per month. So let's just do a little math on that. If the average policy is $300, okay, you multiply that just for easy math, because it's very realistic to get a level at this level, depending on the carrier. Let's just say it's 20%. Times that by 0.2, you're at $60 per member per month in commission. If you guys were on the ACA is only paying $20. This is 3 times that. And you're going to get that every year that policy is in force with National General. So if you don't think that there's money to be made in this, and again, this is just assuming you're only going to market this one product, then you're sorely mistaken. And this is the opportunity, and it's now. Lock it in. It's an election year. Lots of unknowns coming. Get it now while you can, and do what's in the best interest of your client. So again, I want to thank everybody for the time. You should see a chat box or a question box. If you have any questions, please feel free to type those in. We will have a Q&A at the very end. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Phil Mishler with National General, and it's all yours, buddy. Take it.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Just let me know you can see my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, great. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for carving, as Micah said, thanks for carving valuable time from your day to be here. Micah, thanks for the strong lead in. We love working with Messer. We love working with the downline agents of Messer, which is you folks. And we have had a long relationship, and just to kind of start where Micah left off, if you are new to short-term medical, we can keep you safe and give you some instructions on how to transition somebody from an ACA or employer-based coverage onto a short-term and give them the disclaimers that they need so there's no surprises. We won't be able to go into all that today, but we can make you comfortable doing this if you're not already doing it. Okay, so I'm Phil Mishler. I'm the Regional Sales Director for National General. This is, let me get this to advance. There we go. Whoops. This is most of my team. We also have Chaz on the call today. I'm not sure if he had audio trouble getting on or not, but Chaz is based in Huntersville, North Carolina. I'm based in Philadelphia. Some of you may know Nancy Vandevelde. Nancy's based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She's an internal sales rep, ready to take your call when you need help. Very patient and helps agents make money with short-term medical, and makes the process seamless. We have another member of the team, which is Tabitha Jackson. Here's a little bit about Tabitha. Tabitha fixes problems that arise. She helps agents in sticky situations that need to get corrected, or those type of things, commission questions, back office. So together with Tabitha, my team has 80 years of combined experience in the health insurance space, but not just as wholesalers. We've sat in front of prospects. We know what your day's like, and hopefully we're going to be a good support system for you if we're not already working with you now. Okay, we also have agent services. If you folks need help and can't get a hold of any of us, and have member services available for your customer. For those of you who are not familiar with National General, we're a $6 billion company. We're A- excellent by AM Best. We have 8,500 employees, and we insure 4 million people. We are currently in negotiation with Allstate for an acquisition of National General that's supposed to close sometime in the first quarter of 2021. So we're super excited to not merge, but to be purchased by Allstate, and we're excited about the resources that the closing of that deal will be bringing to us and our marketing efforts. So our primary product is short-term medical. For those of you who are new, here are some reasons why people buy short-term medical. The historic reasons are really at the top, but if you look, employees in a waiting period / COBRA, I mean, if you think about how many people have been separated from their jobs, the average person doesn't even know there is an alternative to COBRA. So you have healthy people taking COBRA, electing COBRA, that don't have any ongoing conditions, simply because they didn't know about short-term medical. Obviously, in many states now, we can lock customers in for 3 years on one short-term application, which is a way to bridge somebody to Medicare. We do not require Social Security number for any of our products. We will take anyone who's in this country legally. So the last bullet point at the top section here talks about international students. So we would accept international students, international travelers, and again, anyone who's here in the United States legally with no Social Security number. Super, super easy to come in the door. Then the bottom here, you have the buyers impacted by the Affordable Care Act. And Micah did an excellent job of explaining where the opportunity is. But, if you break it down, it will sound like I'm kicking dirt on ACA plans, but hopefully this makes sense to you. If you do not get a subsidy, I have to ask this question: what's so great about an ACA plan? The rate goes up most years, the network gets narrower most years, and the out-of-pocket always goes up. So if you have people that say two things: hey, I'm paying too much for my health insurance, which quite frankly, that's everybody. Everybody thinks they're paying too much. And they follow that up with a statement, or you ask them, hey, and I hardly ever use my health insurance, or I never use it. Those are really good opportunities for someone to initiate the conversation about short-term medical. All right, so again, for those who are new, the best fit customers are going to be on the left here. Again, they're raising their hand saying, hey, I hardly ever go. And like Micah said, this third bullet point here, a smart customer could pocket the premium savings, but let's be frank with each other. Nobody is breaking down your door to buy life insurance and annuities if that's one of your big products. But if you help them with the health insurance piece and you save them a type of money that Micah was talking about, that family went from $1,200 to $500. They've got a lot of extra money. They've got a lot of extra money to spend, and you're already in their good graces because you're their savior. Okay, on the right side is bad fit customers. Bad fit customer is a bad fit because we don't cover short-term, we don't cover pre-existing conditions. So if they have significant ongoing conditions, not going to be a good fit. All right, so we're one of the few carriers that'll do a child-only policy. So if you have to break up a family, maybe you take the sickest, well, I shouldn't use the word sickest. You have the family member with the most healthcare needs, maybe stay on an ACA plan and take the other family members and put them on something that's more cost effective. And if you do have a child on one of our short terms with parents, we'll cover them just like the ACA up to age 26. All right, so the strongest part of our short-term medical plan is the Aetna Open Choice PPO network. It's going to be great in most locations across the United States. There are some states where we also use the Cigna network where it makes sense and it's the network adequacy is good and the price is right. So it's Aetna primarily, sometimes it's Cigna. If you wanted to check the scope of the network, there's a website listed at the bottom left in blue. In order to get our short-term medical plan in most states, we force your customer to join what we call our life association. It's a $15 a month charge. Anytime that you're running rates, it's going to be included in whatever rates you see in the quote system. The life association membership comes with a lot of benefits, but the two that are worth mentioning the most is that's where the customer accesses their telemedicine benefit. For those of you unfamiliar with telemedicine, that's where you call a doctor instead of going to see one. Kind of popular now as some folks don't want to leave their house. And the second benefit you can read there is a discount RX card that will give the customer anywhere from 20 to 60% discount on prescriptions for non-pre-existing conditions. And there's also a wellness benefit that gives folks access and lowest rates for gyms and other fitness things. On the right-hand side, I want to remind you folks that all of our short-term medical plans come with a $50 unlimited urgent care benefit. The $50 is to walk in the door and get diagnosed. If your customer's getting more expensive testing like blood work, lab work, x-ray, MRI, those charges are going to go, and you see the bottom in red there, bottom left, the deductibles waived and the remaining charges go to the selected co-insurance. So a little known fact, if you have someone that finds themselves at urgent care very often, and if you were to put them on a 100% co-insurance plan with us, which we still offer, they would have unlimited visits and the $50 would cover everything that you could possibly ever get done at an urgent care center. And one of the things that Chaz likes to point out is that your customer can ease themselves into their deductible if they even need to hit it at all. So you could coach your customer a bit and say, hey, if you have a condition that might be best addressed by telemedicine, try telemedicine. It's free to use. Then if they say, nope, you got to go see a doctor, then you access the $50 urgent care benefit. And if those people tell you you need more, then you're going to be into your deductible and co-insurance. So hope that makes sense for you. All right, in most states, we offer a low, medium, and high plan design, with low having the fancy name of Essentials, the middle plan being Enhanced, and then in yellow at the bottom here, you'll see Copay Enhanced, where we're actually offering office visit copays and a real $10 generic, a real $10 generic RX copay. So, and I'm going to show you what these states are in a second, but you'll see here in gray, this gray column, the Essentials, I'm not really too excited about it. It's a $250,000 maximum, as you might be able to see here. The last thing Phil Mitchell is going to do is take you out of an ACA plan and put you in a $250,000 maximum short term. So we don't really like that. If your customer is trying to save money, consider being here in the middle. Consider taking a 50% co-insurance, because if you look at this closely, the 50% and 80% co-insurance both have the same out of pocket. So if I had a highlighter, I would put an X through this Essentials. The Enhanced plan is closer to what our traditional offering has always been. These plans in orange are going to have $1 million maximum, and you'll see here we have a deductible and then straight 100% co-insurance. If you don't like to explain how co-insurance works to your customer, you don't have to. You can do a zero deductible. You can do a $2,500 deductible 100%. You can do a $5,000 100%. Or if you have someone that really, really never goes, we have super high deductibles and 100%. In the far right column here in blue, you'll see it says Copay Enhanced PPO. You'll see the plan designs and deductible co-insurance combinations. Anyone who gets into the copay enhanced PPO is going to enjoy a $5 million maximum. They're going to enjoy a $40 primary copay, a $60 specialist copay, and then here in this blue column in light blue, you'll see a $10 generic drug copay to a max of $3,000. So it's important to understand how that works. The way the drug piece works is, let's say that your customer walks into a pharmacy, they're picking up a generic drug that would normally cost $40 if you didn't have insurance. It's that $40 that credits the $3,000 maximum, but the customer only pays $10 and walk out the door. That's how that works. The more exciting feature of this is that, and we've never done this before, this $10 generic copay will actually cover pre-existing conditions for the drug piece. So while we won't cover under the medical side for a pre-existing condition, if your customer buys up to the PPO enhanced copay, our highest option, we are going to allow them to pay $10 for a generic drug, even if it's pre-existing condition. So the best example I could give you is it is very common for people with hypertension and cholesterol to come in the door on a new application because neither one of those conditions would make you ineligible. And that person's going to be able to enjoy $10 generic copays for their hypertension and their cholesterol drugs, even though those two conditions aren't covered under the medical side. The one thing that you do need to know is the exclusions on the prescription piece do follow the exclusions on the medical part. So for example, if you brought someone in taking a mental nervous drug, we don't cover mental nervous on the short-term medical, so that customer would not enjoy $10 copays simply because that condition is excluded from coverage. So I hope that makes sense. All right, and this is just a reiteration of all the things that I've just discussed. The network's great. Here it says 12-month duration available, but depending on what state you're in, you can actually go 2 or even 3 years. We do have a very short pre-existing look back. It's this last point here in the bottom right. Our look back for pre-existing conditions is 12 months. Our health history questions go back 5 years, but when we go to adjudicate a claim, we're only looking at the 12-month lead up immediately preceding the customer's selected effective date. All right, so this is our short-term medical footprint. As you can see, all the states in green have the new product that I've just discussed with you. We still call it a new product, even though it's like 2 years old. The only exception is North Carolina. North Carolina, you'll see it here in blue with the older product. We did just get approval for North Carolina for the new product. Unfortunately, we're too close to open enrollment to launch it for open enrollment, so you'll see it sometime in first quarter. So hooray, it's finally done. I'm sorry it took so long. And we'll have it in North Carolina just after open enrollment. Okay, if you're in North Carolina, this is our plan design for North Carolina, and you can see we still offer quite a few plans with 100% coinsurance, and most of the plans have $1 million maximum. Just get ready for the new product. It's coming soon. Okay, we are paying a bonus for short-term medical. We don't have an official document yet, so this is, you have to bear with us here. Basically, if you look, there's specific states where this bonus is paid out. For writing agents, you're really in these first two categories. If you once you write over 10 applications, that's when we start paying the bonus. The bonus is per application. The bonus is paid monthly. We don't make you wait for the bonus for this. So that's just a little teaser. You'll all be sent the official contest flyer when it becomes available. We also have what we call a kicker bonus. And the way that works, and I'm going to be talking about a little bit more in a minute, is if your customer has the need, and if you're in the habit of asking the customer about supplemental coverages, if you do a combined sale of short-term medical Of course, you wouldn't know what ASC means. ASC refers to our supplemental products. So if you're able to pair a short-term medical with one of our supplemental products, we're going to give you an extra 2% commission bump on the short-term medical. And that bonus does last for the life of the short-term plan. We're also going to pay $25 for a supplemental sale. So ASC means supplemental. I probably should use the different words so you folks better understand. Any of our supplemental products, whether even if it's sold standalone, we will pay, in addition to high commission, we will also pay a $25 bonus. There is one stipulation: the supplemental product has to cost more than $18 a month, which isn't on this slide. So please look for the contest flyer. We expect it to be out this week. All right, we've also launched preferred versus standard. I'm just going to take a minute to walk through a preferred versus standard rates for our short-term medical. So if you've already been quoting with us and you've been in the system recently, you will notice we have a extra column here that says prior coverage. So the whole process for which your customer could receive a 20% reduction in their short-term medical pricing all starts with prior coverage. So this is what we define prior coverage as: any type of health insurance in 9 out of the last 12 months. It could be a religious sharing plan, it could be short-term, ACA, spouse coverage. We don't care, and quite frankly, we don't check. So it's kind of on the agent to ask the question and populate the box. Once you populate the prior medical coverage box, we actually just knock a couple of dollars off just for having prior coverage. I can't define a couple of dollars, but it's less than our standard rate. And then what you'll see as you advance through the quote, you'll see the rate, the standard rate is at the top here. And then there's what we're saying is your customer could see a rate as low as $431. So you might be asking yourself, well, when is this going to be important? Well, I'll tell you when it's going to be important. It could be important if you have a short term that ends and you're going to rewrite it and the new price is a little higher. You could use the preferred rating to yank that rate down and give them the same rate or a very similar rate than they had the year before. Or you could just give your customer, you could just deliver a preferred rate to your customer and they can enjoy the low rate. So how does all this work? So the first thing you'll see is the difference in rate between preferred and standard. And then when you're in the quote, you've already obviously have prior coverage checked because nobody can be preferred unless they have prior coverage. And then there's a checkbox for preferred premium, and when you hover over it, it's going to show you what the criteria. And I'm not going to read this to you folks. Hopefully you can see it. It's kind of small print. It just asks, well, I'll quickly tell you in case you can't see it. Can't be using tobacco, had to have prior coverage, can't own a motorcycle, can't have a DUI, and no blood pressure or cholesterol, anxiety or depression. And then the big one is the last one, and it's not even a question, it's just a note. And it just says here, males need to weigh less than 240 or less, and females 190 or less. So that's a quick overview of how preferred standard works. And let me just say one more word on this. So walking through this process can deliver a 20% rate reduction for your customer. We do run an RX check in the background while you're submitting the application. So very occasionally, very rarely, you're going to have somebody who we found there was an RX, during our RX check, they were taking a medication inconsistent with preferred rating. And at the end of the process, you'll see we'll make like a counter offer to the customer. So it all happens behind the scenes. It's still a 5-minute application. If you have more questions about preferred and standard, call us. Don't look at it and think this could be in your way, because what it is, it's a pathway to deliver a 20% reduction to your customer. We also have available what we call supplemental plans. Supplemental plans are what you see here. All of these products can be sold standalone. These can be added to somebody who has group coverage through another source, through a spouse. This can be used for ACA sales. So Micah was talking about what you folks make on an ACA individual sale, and I believe that varies state by state. But let's be frank with it, you're not retiring on one application. You're going to get a little bit of money. If you're willing to have the conversation about these products with your customer, you can increase what you get paid and your customer is more comfortable using their health insurance. So I would just explain what these are. This first one's called TrioMed. AME stands for Accident Medical Expense. So TrioMed is accident medical expense with a critical illness benefit, and it also comes with AD&D. It's guarantee issue. I like it so much, I own the product myself. I have 2 separate accident plans. I have 2 separate critical illness policies. This guarantee issue, it's easy to get into. Plan Enhancer is the same thing. It's a fixed dollar amount per accident. So AME stands for Accident Medical Expense. Fixed dollar amount per accident, less a $250 deductible. The rates for Plan Enhancer start at $14 a month. In most states, for $14 a month, you can get $2,500 per accident. Or you can buy all the way up to $17,000 of accident coverage per accident. So these products are really good if you have a customer who has an ACA plan, either silver or bronze, with no subsidy. And I'll talk to you about what kind of conversation you might want to have with those folks if you're not in the habit of doing that already. Plan Enhancer also comes with a cancer, heart, and stroke rider, which is also guarantee issue. So CHS stands for cancer, heart, and stroke. And it comes with SIP, which you would never know means sickness hospitalization. The sickness hospitalization does have 3 questions. So Plan Enhancer is a great supplement to help people feel more comfortable using their benefits. We also sell cancer, heart, and stroke coverage, and those coverages are medically underwritten, and you can get anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 for your customer if they're presented with a critical diagnosis. The rates for these plans never change. We reserve the right to raise these rates. We never have. We also sell hospital expense protection. So once a year, if your customer gets sick and goes in the hospital, we can give them a lump sum of cash. And believe it or not, I know everyone and their mom wants life insurance from you. We did launch term life insurance. It's dirt cheap. What's good about it is it's simplify issue. You check no to the appropriate health questions. We will issue coverage. No urine, no blood, no nothing. So don't quit your day job to sell our life insurance. But I can tell you, if you're in here and you have a young couple with children and an unfunded college education, it's a good opportunity for a few dollars to help those folks out. We have what we call a fixed indemnity medical plan. That's what this National General Access Plan is. We just lowered the rates. We increased the benefits. We now have a guarantee issue option. National General Access Plan is a permanent health insurance plan to cover your customer all the way to age 65. No rate increases. Whatever they're paying today, they'll be paying the same 5 or 10 years from now. It is a 0 deductible health plan designed for people that don't like deductibles. Designed for the person that would tell Micah Matthews, Micah, a $5,000 deductible in my world is the same thing as having no insurance at all. So it's good as a permanent plan as long as you understand it pays a fixed dollar amount. But what it's super awesome for is it's a gap product. If you get someone who's underage, generally under age 45, you could have them take a higher deductible on their medical plan, put this National General Access Plan underneath of it, functions as a gap plan and provides cash for just about everything you could think of, subject to the benefits of the policy. And then, of course, we do have a dental PPO, a dental indemnity, and we have 2 other dental plans that I'm really excited to tell you about in a minute or 2. So I'm not going to bore you to death with a lot of slides about supplemental, trying to prove a point of why it's important to sell it. I'll let this slide speak for itself. This bottom number here is household income. The top number is what's left over at the end of the month after they paid all their other bills. So you can see If you have a family, I'm sorry, I should have started on the left. So on the left is 2-year-old data about average deductible. You'll see the average deductible for a single person in 2018 is $4,300, and the family was $8,352. If you look at where those numbers fall in this chart, those folks might not be able to afford their out-of-pocket on their health insurance, and that's where you come in. So we sell supplemental in all the states in yellow, which is basically every state except for a few along the Canadian border and Connecticut. Oh, okay, I went a little too far. But what I wanted to talk about for just a minute is supplemental coverage in general. So I wanted to talk about supplemental coverages, the ones that I just explained: accident, critical illness, sickness, hospitalization. What they do for the customer is they make the customer feel more comfortable using their health insurance. And sometimes we find that agents who aren't in the habit of bringing up supplemental coverages, they really don't know how to start the conversation. So I would just ask Micah to respond. Micah, you've been a customer of ours for so long. You come in here, you pay your auto insurance on time. You're kind enough to let us write your health insurance. And you make us laugh when you come in here because you're a funny guy. And in light of all that, we'll just want to let you know not only how much we appreciate you, but we care about you, Micah. And to that end, I got to ask you a question. What is the out-of-pocket on your health insurance, Micah?
$5,000.
And what's your plan? If you don't mind me asking, what's your plan to cover that?
I guess my children.
Your children. All right. And see, so when you ask that question, right, and it's going to sound different coming out of your mouth than it does mine, right? I'm in Philadelphia. I've got a Philadelphia style of speaking. So you'd have to craft this in a way that works for you. But, you know, when you ask the customer, hey, Micah, what's the plan to cover your out-of-pocket? Just sit back and listen, because sometimes it's going to be silly. It's going to sound so silly you almost want to laugh. Because, well, I hope I don't go in the hospital. All right, well, let's face it, that's a terrible plan, right? You can't say that to your customer, but you have to be willing to ask the question, you know? And then, you know, so no matter what Micah says, when I ask him that question, my response would simply be, you know, what would happen if you had access to plans that don't increase in rate? You pay the same today as you're going to be paying from 5 years from now, and the insurance company is going to give you cash every time you get in an accident, less than $250 deductible, or cash every time you get sick and go in the hospital, or God forbid you get a critical diagnosis. They're going to pay cash just upon diagnosis of that critical condition, right? Because I don't suppose you have a family history of cancer, right? So 40% of the people that walk in your door, 40% of the people you talk to in a week have a family history of cancer. So those are the two questions I like people to start with if you're new to this. What's your plan on covering your out-of-pocket, and do you have a family history of cancer?
And Phil, just to add on to that point, like I said when I started, you know, the number one cause of bankruptcy are medical bills. What good is insurance if something does catastrophic happen to you and you still can't afford it and it still bankrupts you? So make sure that even with the insurance, that if something does happen, that they're okay with the worst case scenario. Otherwise, then they're not insured enough, and that's where you need to address it with these other products.
You got to love your customer. You got to love your customer. So it does get easier, but the first time you do it, it's going to be a little shaky, right? You may not have all the answers, but what we ask is simply, I'm about to get off my soapbox here, is please don't make the decision for your customer. Don't assume they're okay with an $8,352 out of pocket. Please just don't do that. And if you love and care for your customers, it's certainly something that you want to bring up. But let's be honest with each other, okay? It isn't for everyone. If you try and put this on everyone, you're going to have trouble. But if you're willing to have a 2-minute conversation, you might learn something, and you might learn that people actually want these lines of coverage. They don't know they exist. All right, I'm off my soapbox. So I wanted to talk about the 2 new dental plans we have. We have an under 65 dental plan, and we have a senior dental. So the approved states are here in varying colors of orangish yellow. All of these are launched and available for quoting right now. So the under 65 product, we actually have a name for it. It's called Select Dental. It has 3 different levels of benefits for the dental part, and it has optional vision. Hang on here a second. What we love about these products, what we love about both of these products is what you're looking at right there in that first line. There are no waiting periods. It is competitively priced. We've got a great network with Aetna, and the benefit grows year over year. This is the strongest dental plan I've seen in 30 years in this business. A lot of individual dental plans are a money grab. Agents have been doing this a while. You surely know that. You almost always pay more in than you're going to get back in benefit. This is not that kind of product. So you can see here is pretty standard deductibles. A basic service is available from day one at 60%, and that increases in year 2 plus to 80%. If you bought the richest plan, you're going to start at $2,000 maximum here on the far right side, and in year 3, it's going to jump to $3,000. We also cover orthodontia, and we cover orthodontia even on the richest plan. We cover orthodontia even if it was the orthodontic treatment was started under another carrier. So we also used Aetna for the dental network. It's Aetna Dental Administrators. The network's actually grown since we made this slide. It's over 89,000 providers. But the more important part is the average discount of 43.5%. That's huge. This is a great network in most places. So don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. If you went to mynatgen.com/Aetna Dental PPO, please check it out for yourself. I think this plan is great, and we're excited. Just in the sales to date in the approved states have been great. Also comes with a vision benefit. You can see the vision benefits here. I'll leave this up for a couple of seconds. It's going to provide coverage for the exam frames and lenses. And the Vision Network is a Visas, is a Guardian company. For familiar with Guardian, excellent company. They've got every major chain, including Walmart, which what they tell me is Walmart's the largest vision provider in the country. So excellent network for the dental, excellent network for the vision piece. No waiting period. And here's some sample rates. So the first question you might be thinking is, okay, Phil, what is that preferred discount? That is simply people who had previous dental coverage. So we think that it's priced right here in this Georgia example. We also have a senior version of this product, and we call it internally the Double Up Dental. Again, it has no waiting period. It covers implants and dentures. Dental, vision, hearing. All right, it's pretty standard on the deductibles. This is, I'm sorry, so you can see the vision, like if you took level 3 for major, you're going to get major starting day 1 at 25%, and in year 2 it jumps to 50%. Includes implants and dentures. And if you look at level 3, the day you buy it, you're getting a $1,500 max, but in year 2 it jumps to $3,000. I mean, that's richer than my group dental through National General. Oops, sorry, I went too fast. So there's also a vision component, and there's a hearing component. Let me get the hearing component. Oh, that's vision. Same thing, a Visas network with Walmart, 80,000 providers. You guys can read. Amplifone. So Amplifone is the hearing provider. and you can see they give a pretty strong discount using the Amplifone network for hearing. All right, so Micah, do I have time to get into the quote system? Do we have any questions?
One of the questions was, are all of these ancillary products standalone? So if they didn't do a short-term medical, can they just get a dental plan or just a vision plan?
God bless the person for asking that question. Yes, all of our supplementals stand alone. You can go into our system and just promote an accident plan. We'll just promote cancer, heart, stroke coverage. You know, for those of you who are going to take my suggestion and start asking people what's your plan to cover your out of pocket? Do you have a family history of cancer? Yes. The answer is yes. Anybody else have any questions?
We can go over the rest at the end.
Good. All right, great. Let me get out of this if I can. All right, so what I wanted to do was run, and I'm going to bore you to death with this, but I want to show you the preferred and standard and a little bit on the supplementals as we get close to the end of our time together. All right, so I'm going to just be quoting a male, age 43 here. So here's your prior medical coverage. It used to be a checkbox, now it's a drop down. So I'm going to say, yes, I've had prior coverage. And then for those of you who were not aware, we either just turned on, we just turned it on. You can now quote 90 days into the future. So any of these days of the month so it'll let me quote all the way out to January 3rd.
And I just want everybody to notice how easy it is to quote this and how easy it is to enroll. That's one of the biggest things. I mean, obviously, we all want to do what's in the best interest of clients. We all want to make lots of money, but we also want to make sure that it's worth our time to do so. Because if it's a real bear and the clients are going to have to go through all this nightmare and agents are going to have to go through a nightmare just to quote it and enroll it, then they're never going to do it. But this, guys, is about as easy as it could possibly be. And I want everybody to pay attention just how fast this really is.
Thank you, Micah. So what you're looking at here is this is for people who forget that we sell supplementals. So we add this page here, and in this case, you know, I was talking about our fixed indemnity product, and I won't bore you with all the details here, but look, this person's got our plan enhancer, $10,000 coverage per accident, unlimited accidents, plus cancer, heart, stroke, plus sickness, hospitalization. And for whatever reason, they also gave them hospital expense protection level 5, which doesn't coordinate with other coverage. So huge thing here. And what I didn't mention earlier is we do list bill. So you see this little checkbox here. With a minimum of 2 people, you could add these type of plans to an employer group, to an association, to an affinity group. It wouldn't matter. Minimum of 2, we can list bill these, right? If you're a group producer, right, you know, group renewal meetings, small group renewal meetings are about as fun as a funeral. You're delivering bad news every single time. The rate's going up, right? The out-of-pocket's going up. Now, here's an opportunity for people, employees at the individual level, to get something else. All right, enough with that. We're going to click See All Plans, and this is going to get us into looking at some short-term rates. So this is what we have for short-term medical. These are your plan designs. This is what I mentioned earlier. So this person was at the standard rate's at 247, but it could be as low as 200. I'm just going to take what I like. I'm going to do this 5,000, 100%. So add the 5,000, 100% to the cart. I'll go up here. I'm like, okay, I want to know what the preferred criteria is. I click on this box. It'll bring up those 5 questions just to make sure that the person's eligible. I click preferred premium, and that will start the process to get the person into a preferred rate. All right, and I just wanted to, since we talked about these earlier, if I wanted to add an accident plan, and so this top part's AD&D, we don't want to mess with that. We don't sell too much of that. But if we do the plan enhancer here, is one of the things that I talked about. Here's a $2,500 accident benefit per accident. It's $10.82. It's $10.82. And then you can buy up to, I don't know, here's 10,000 per accident, $31 a month, right? And remember what I was saying, you can do the accident plus cancer, heart, stroke. So I'm just going to pick what I think makes sense to gap my 5,000 medical plan. I'm going to do accident and cancer, heart, stroke. And then I did mention that we have that fixed indemnity plan. Now, it's not really going to fit with what I'm doing here, but check this out. I could take the lowest cost access plan, which is our limited benefit medical plan, which gives cash for office visits, cash for hospital confinement, and all this other stuff you see here for $115 a month. Now, if I was going to do that, and again, I'm not going to make you dizzy and do too much of this, but I would probably take a higher deductible on the health plan because this is a $100 premium. But even if I didn't do anything, here's a 43-year-old male, short term for $200, a plan that's going to give them cash for everything, and another plan that's going to give cash $5,000 per accident, plus if they get critically diagnosed with cancer, heart, or stroke coverage, and they're going to get all that. Where's the total? See, if I could just have done saying how easy our system is. There we go. So you're going to buy all that insurance for $334 a month. Go run a 43-year-old male on a bronze ACA in your state and tell me what the price is. It's going to be more than that. So that's what I wanted to show you folks today. We're right at the hour mark. If you needed more information about preferred standard, if you're like, holy cow, Phil, I want to get into selling supplemental because I just let the customer walk out the door and I'm complaining about the $10 commission I make every month. You can change that. You just have to give us a call, and you got to love your customers. Micah, have I missed anything? Is there any more questions?
Yeah, that was some great information. And obviously, guys, as you saw, there's so much customization that you can do with these plans that you can really help it fit what they're looking for. See, that was the problem with the ACA. When it first came in, they mandated certain coverages. So, like, even a male, even though obviously we can't get pregnant or we cannot have children, we still had to pay for maternity coverage even on our plans. So people ask, well, why is it so expensive? Well, one, it covers all pre-existing conditions, whether you have them or not. And two, they mandate certain benefits being covered, whether you can even have it or not. So again, it's just a great way for those that can basically, for a better way of saying it is, you're rewarding people for being relatively healthy. Why should they pay the higher premiums when they're not a risk? Every other line of insurance increases premiums based off of risk, except for the ACA. So in that regards, make sure that we can at least take advantage of that, of their health, of that good health. And that's where you're getting these lower premiums. And actually, while you were talking, I was going to quote one real quick just to tell you what the price for someone who was 43 years old, just so we can compare. Bear with me 1 second here. Well, no, that's not working. And there are some questions while I'm doing that. Let me go ahead and ask some of these for you, Phil. Are there any HSA options for short-term medical, Phil?
Great. I was on mute. In order to have an ACA account, your underlying plan has to be it has to be an Affordable Care Act chassis with no first dollar coverage, and a short term does not meet that definition.
Okay. And as far as the 12-month rules, so what does that mean? Can you go over the pre-X 12-month again? When would pre-existing conditions be covered?
Oh, that's a great point. So let's say I'm in South Carolina today and I buy 2 12-month policies. Now, it's not exactly 12 months, but let's just, for our sake, I'm just going to say it's 2 12-month policies. Because your customer is buying them at the same time, and remember, the pre-X is we only consider pre-X to be anything that occurred or was treated for or consulted for in the immediate 12-month lead up to the application date. So what happens after the first policy runs out? So you go your 12 months. When you hit that second policy, pre-X drops off. So if you have a customer with psoriasis, first 12 months not covered because it's excluded for pre-X. Second 12 months covered, subject to the limits of our plan. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes. And actually, I just did a quote just for a 43-year-old on an $8,150 deductible that nothing is covered on until they hit that deductible. You're talking over $320 a month versus yours, which was the Cadillac of all plans for almost the identical price.
$5,000 out of pocket, some first dollar coverage, and a whole bunch of supplemental. When that person's driving down the street in their car going, I'm covered. I'm covered. And you can help people do the same thing yourself.
And something else I wanted to point out too, if you guys noticed on their quoting tool, you'll see med supplements. That means that product is also included on everyone's National General contract. So all of you that are already appointed with National General through Messer has that Medicare supplement plan also available where you can market it and you can sell that right now. So a very competitive product as well. Let's see. Here's another question. Is a person insured nationwide, for an example, if they're a Florida policyholder and are traveling?
These are the best questions ever. So yes, so you buy it, even if you move out of state 2 weeks later, you get to keep it. You get to keep it. So yes, nationwide network. We don't force you to cancel. Like you could buy it in North Carolina today, next month move to New York City. You get to keep it, and you get to access the network in whatever state you're in. So it is a nationwide network, and we really worked hard to get that network, and we're happy to have it.
Phil, is there anywhere where agents could get a copy of this presentation that you have?
Yes, I will just send this to you as soon as we hang up, and then you'll have the recording on your website as well.
Do you have anywhere in your presentation or anywhere where you can talk about how COVID is covered under these short-term medical plans?
Let's see. So it used to be at natgenhealth.com. Let's see if it's still here. Yeah. So so if you go to natgenhealth.com, then you can see here, if you can still see my screen, this is our statement regarding that we'll waive the out-of-pocket costs for diagnostic tests and customers seeking testing.
And I would highly recommend, guys, I mean, we see how fast this COVID can come in and take over. You can do next day effective dates on these short-term medical plans. So get these guys insured as soon as possible, because you don't want them to be diagnosed with something before they have the insurance, because then that's going to null and void any opportunities that they have with the short-term medical. Another reason why we have to act now. Unfortunately, as of right now, we do not have any of the ancillary products or the short-term medical on our MyMFG quoting tool. That is something we are going to be working on next year. But as you can see, each of these short-term medical carriers will have their own portals. National General, super easy. It picks all the different plans, and you can enroll them right through their platform as well. Soon it will be integrated, but just not for this OEP. It's just too late in the year.
That's fair. So
here's another.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So when I ran the previous quote, because the person was only 43 years old, you wouldn't see anything when you clicked on the med sub tab. But I went back in and I requoted this person as though they're turning 65 on 11/1. And so while you can't enroll on this screen, you could at least get an idea of what our Medicare supplement rates look like. And you'll see here, we do offer in most states a 7% household discount. And in this case, it's South Carolina. So you can see here the plan for G. You can see G's rate right here. And that this 119 does include a household discount. It's a 7% discount, even if the spouse or person that they live with is not enrolling. Thanks, Mike.
And that's the one thing that I love about National General is that all of your products are competitive and reasonably priced and affordable. I mean, you were showing some of those accident plans, $10 a month. And really, and that's another question that you should ask the client. It's like, okay, so when you're talking to the client about what kind of deductible level are you working with and what kind of out-of-pocket maximum exposure are you looking for? And they say, okay, well, I'm thinking if all they're focused on is premium, and you show them, okay, well, this is a very low premium. Now, let's just assume that this is the plan that you go with. Are you okay if something catastrophic were to happen to pay those out-of-pocket expenses? And if they say, well, no, I can't afford that either, then is it worth an extra 20, 30, 40 bucks a month to have that completely alleviated? Because again, you do not want to leave them with a cost that they can't afford. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point in even having insurance in the first place. It is our job as the agents to fit the product and the benefits with the agent, with the client based off of their needs. If we're not doing that, then we're not doing our job. The last thing you want to happen is for something to catastrophically happen to one of your clients and them not to be able to afford the cost even after that and complain and have all kinds of worries. That's the point of insurance, is to alleviate any concern. We sell security, we sell safety, we sell peace of mind. That's what insurance is. There's nothing that we're handing anybody except a piece of paper saying, here's your policy. We're selling the value of the peace of mind. That's what insurance is. Let's never, ever forget that. Hey, Phil, do you mind putting up your contact list too again on your presentation where it shows your picture and everybody's with your contact info?
There you go.
Another question. I have, this agent was asking, they have some clients that do not have a social security number. Can they write your products?
Yes, all day long. We don't care. You can input the application and we don't require a social security number on any product.
Does this cover pregnancy and delivery costs?
No.
Okay. Let's see. What's the minimum period of time to prepay to obtain the prepaid discount?
Oh, I forgot about that. So we do annualize premium in states with the quote unquote new product. It's a 22% discount. So you can single pay for any length of policy with us.
All right, well, that looks like it's just about all the questions. Again, guys, you have everybody's contact information up here on the screen with National General. You can also contact Messer Financial. I've said this before in other webinars. It does us no good to contract somebody if they're not going to be successful doing it. So we are vested in every one of you that partners with Messer to help you succeed. The more successful you are, the more successful we are. That's the beauty of this whole business. It's the relationships. That's why it will always be a relationship. If you're wanting to ever have a brainstorming session of how you can market it, how you want to do certain products, how you want to grow your business, how you want to round out your portfolio, we are always here to help you out and to try to come up with a plan, and not only come up with the plan, but also a way to execute it. Because at the end of the day, we want you to feel comfortable in what you're doing and be very good at it. So you have our contact information, Messer Financial. You can call us anytime, Monday through Friday. We are here to help. We have different departments. We have a commissions department. We have contracting department. We have a marketing department, producer support department. Anything that you need for support, we are here to help you and to make sure that you have what you need and so that you can focus on what you do best, and that's selling. At the end of the day, if you guys are trying to fight with commission issues or contracting issues or whatever, then you're taking away time when you could be out there helping clients stay safe and protect their families. So we want to help you take off a lot of that burden so that you can focus on that kind of stuff. That's all that I have for today. Make sure to check out tomorrow too, and for the rest of the week, we're having different carriers. Phil, is there anything that you wanted to say in parting?
I just want to say I appreciate you, Micah. I love working with Messer Financial. And please, if you folks have questions, you need to hear something or see something to get more comfortable, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great week. Take care.